Welcome back to Guasto. Let's head out to the first story of the day. My 22 male, sister 22 female, whom I have completely cut contact with and not spoken to in 3 years just messaged me and wants to see me again. I don't know what to do or how to respond. My sister is 25 years old. I'm a 22-year-old male. 3 years ago, we completely cut contact and never spoke with each other again. We had a very vicious falling out and went completely separate ways. I had always thought I'd probably never see her or speak to her again. We both had a pretty crappy childhood. Our parents were rotten to the both of us. It was never good. I always got the short end of the deal, beatings, violence, what have you. When she was old enough to move out, she did and left me with them. Things got way worse for me, but eventually when I turned 18 and went to college, after constant pressure from her, I did move out. We lived together for a year, and this was when the problem started. It was all cause we were struggling for cash and the monetary problems caused constant worsening resentment. Basically, the agreement was that we both pay 50-50. But with me focusing so much on my education and barely having enough time for a job outside that, I found coming up with my share of the money harder than it was for her. She ended up taking on more of the pay and responsibility, and I tried hard to keep up. It led us to having a lot of arguments. I started doing late-night jobs, which meant I slept a lot during the day. She started accusing me of being lazy. She sometimes even accused me of hiding money or lying about how much I made and trying to hide it from her, which was all very hurtful for me to hear. The last straw was when one of her friends lost some money around us and my sister accused me of stealing it. Things became very violent. I lost all hope and faith in her because I couldn't believe she'd leveled such an accusation against me. It ended very badly and I moved out. I lived with a friend as roommate since then. I was about 19 then. I've changed roommates a couple of times, but I have a circle of close friends. I hadn't talked with my sister at all since that day. Not even a little bit. That was 3 years ago. I sometimes get messages from my parents and talk to them very briefly, but don't talk much to them either. I've lived my whole life since then and have pretty much avoided my entire family. It's been that way for 3 years and I've slowly overcome many challenges and put my life together through hard work. Then today, I got a message from my sister out of the blue. It was sent to me on Facebook. My profile isn't that hard to find. I had never blocked her on Facebook, but I had just completely ignored her account and never messaged her, aside from occasionally looking at her profile. I won't type out the full message she sent because it's really long and there were some really sensitive and emotional bits in it which I couldn't feel comfortable making public. But essentially, some of the things she said were, "I've been thinking about you a lot recently. I really miss you and I really love you. I'm very sorry about the way everything happened. You didn't deserve it. I should have believed you. I hope you can forgive me and give me another chance." It was really long, and I could feel she had put a lot of emotion and sincerity into it, and it came off as somewhat apologetic, but wanting to put the past behind. She said she wanted to meet up with me again and see how I've been doing. I haven't replied yet. The whole thing caught me off completely by surprise. I tried to keep my family out of my mind for 3 years while building up what I have so far of my life, and this was completely unexpected. I had to fight back more than a few tears, but now I am again in a calm composition, but I don't know what to do. While I have tried to move on, it doesn't mean I've forgotten or forgiven what happened. The way she accused me of stealing and how vicious everything was. There had been a lot of hatred then. But now after 3 years, she contacts me? After 3 years, she wants to build a new start and pretend like nothing happened and put it all in the past? What on earth could motivate her to do this? I have my life, she has hers. What on earth could bring her to try and drag all of this back into her life after 3 years? I don't know what to do. I haven't responded yet. I could just ignore the message entirely. If I respond, I suppose she will want to meet up and build a new relationship and everything. Honestly, I don't need her in my life, and I'm doing okay on my own. I have no idea what would motivate her to do this, and I have no idea how to respond. Help, please? What should I do? Too long didn't read. 3 years ago, cut contact with my sister and mostly cut contact with family after having a pretty bad falling out. We had been living together and the financial situation made everything so strenuous. She accused me of stealing, I couldn't stand it, so I moved out. The accusation is what hurt the most. Now, after 3 years of completely not speaking to or seeing each other, she contacted me out of the blue with a very long message and wants to see me again. I don't know what to do or how to respond, or even if I should. Original poster made an update after this post stating, "Well, I was going to leave this for a few days before writing it, but I have the time now, so I might as well. Thanks for everyone that gave me supportive advice and encouragement. Part of me can't believe this is happening. It all feels so surreal, like a dream, but I'm glad it happened." After I got the message from my sister, I wanted to message her back. I'm not good with putting my feelings into words, and I typed out a long response. I tried to put all my thoughts and feelings into it, but I read it and it felt so clustered and nonsensical, and parts of it were just embarrassing to read. I deleted it all and wrote another message. I wanted to accurately convey my feelings, but without coming off as accusatory or rude or anything. Basically, I had spent the last 3 years rebuilding my life. I put a wall around myself, separating myself from the family and everything that happened. I think I was scared to cross that wall again. I deleted that message again and I spent hours trying to reply. But I think I just put too much thought into it and ended up not even replying. I left it as it is. I ignored the whole thing. I pretended it didn't happen. Part of me hoped that she wouldn't send another message and that would be it. However, at night I got another message from her. She must have known that I've seen a message and I didn't reply. Her message was short. It just said, "I understand if you don't want to contact me or even have anything to do with me again. But if you do, just know that you have a sister out there and she loves you." I felt so guilty reading this, I cried almost instantly. I wished I hadn't ignored her first message. I wish I'd just sent her a reply. I must have been crying loudly, because my friend, the guy I live with, came in and started asking what's wrong. I said nothing at first, but he was really helpful and I opened up to him about what happened and how I've been messaged by my sister. He sort of knows about my background with my family, so he was really supportive. He gave me encouragement and told me that I should be receptive to her and contact her. I told him I wanted to, but I didn't know what to say or how to say it. He said it doesn't matter and just to write back whatever I like. It doesn't have to be perfect. I sent her a message back. All I said was, "I miss you too." She replied and we started talking from there. I was very apprehensive and I made a specific effort not to mention what happened 3 years ago. I agreed to meet up with her. She has her own entire house now that she rents. She seems to be doing very well on her own. She said she'd understand if I wasn't ready to see her yet so suddenly after so long. But I told her that I wanted to. I explained to my friend that I was going to visit my sister for the first time in 3 years. I was very emotional and somewhat unstable, but he was very understanding. He told me to take as much time as I need, and he'd give me a call later to make sure everything was okay. I thanked him for all his immense help and support. Meeting my sister for the first time after all these years, I can't even describe it. What I felt when she opened the door. I cried, she hugged me forever. I thought I would feel uncomfortable. I thought I would feel scared or nervous. I thought I would feel angry or fearful, but there was none of that. I almost felt like I was returning to a home I'd abandoned. We talked about everything, even after what happened 3 years ago, but we still didn't talk too much about that and didn't point any fingers. She seems to be doing very great with her life, able to afford renting an entire house on her own. At the age of 25, that's incredible. Apparently, she still maintains contact with our parents, much more frequently and regularly than I do. She asked me how I was doing and said that I seemed to be doing well. She offered me any money or financial assistance I needed. I told her no thanks, but she kept insisting. She told me that I'm a little brother, and as a little brother she feels she has a duty to look out for me. And she feels she hasn't done that so well. I think she still feels guilty over what happened, and it's a way of making repairs. I called my friend and told him things were well. I ended up spending the night at her house. I'm here right now typing this out. As I said, I still can't believe all this happened. The emotion is overwhelming. I feel like my head is spinning. Honestly, it feels like a dream, kind of. But this turned out far better than I hoped for. It's like a miracle that just appeared out of nowhere. I guess we'll see what happens from here. Thanks to all for your support. Too long didn't read. I replied to my sister's message and reunited with her for the first time in 3 years. And this is the end of the video for today. Thank you for listening. See you in the next one, and remember, you're appreciated.